Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, we're doing the plumbing here for the shower, and I already went ahead and put this in. This is going to be what I'm mounting my pieces to put the pieces on for this. Basically, I'm going to be doing the same thing, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but as I did right there for the sink plumbing. So that's pretty much my plan. This is fairly simple, and this could differ depending on what kind of fixtures and things you're using. The faucet I'm using is this Sanitary Wares. I don't know where it comes from or what company, if that's just the name of the company. And it comes with instructions for all different kinds of ones. This is the one I'm using right here. And it's this dual setup, kind of old-fashioned looking. So that's my plan on what I'm going to be using. The way I'm setting this up though will work just about anyway. In fact, I'll put in a thing from how I hooked the one downstairs, because I haven't finished walling that up, so you'll be able to see some of that as well for the type of one I have downstairs too. So if it's something similar to this, then I'll show you what this looks like sort of on the back side best I can. And this is the downstairs little shower. Alright, and to start with, I got what I believe is a 3/4 inch board here, and now kind of ignore the cutouts. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain that a little bit in a little bit here. But anyways, hooked to that on the other side is that mixer, and I'll show you the fittings that I used in here. And here's the fitting. I don't remember, I believe this is the type, but I think they make a male and a female in, and this is the female one. And I do think that I might have used male in ones on that particular one. I cannot remember. But either way, they got an end like this on it, so you got to screw this in and put your pecs to that. Well, coming out of here, this is where I had a lot of leakage. No, and it didn't matter how hard I reefed on those. I tightened way more than I wanted to, that I felt comfortable with, and it still was leaking. So in the end, I'll show you the product. And then this goes up to the shower head, which is just like the pieces that I'm putting in that have the nipples sticking off, and then the shower head actually screws right into that directly. You don't have to use like a nipple or anything on this, but then we got the hot, which comes over to this side, and the cold, which comes over to this side. We got a cat hanging out down behind us. That's a noise you probably hear. Now this is what happened. I actually, because I was looking at it from this direction, I was thinking hot, left, cold, right, and switched them backwards. So if you're doing it kind of from the reverse side like I was, you got to think about that it's side to side is different. So this actually ended up being shorter, and this was longer, and I had to kind of cut that out to get that to go in there, because I didn't want to have to run this whole thing all the way back. But it's working out. I'm happy with it, and it's not leaking. Now, I did have a severe leak in this, and it leaked a couple times on me. I actually finally tore it completely apart, and I'll show you some stuff that works really, really good that I will never not use, because I tried using just the tape stuff instead of the pipe dope. And anyhow, the stuff I'm going to show you, bar none, is the best stuff that I've used so far. And there is what I'm using right there, the pipe thread sealant to T+2. Now this is potable. They make a potable and a non-potable. So you can decide what to do. I bought this one, and it's gotten me through everything I needed it, whether it was potable or not. In case you don't know what potable means, that means it's used for clean water that you can drink. But anyway, seems to work really, really well. Way better than the tape did. I have this cross brace here. This is just kind of how I figured it. It seems to work pretty good for the size I need to stick out where I need it to. And I'm just using these PEX fittings, and I gotta have this one as far over as I can to here and still be able to maneuver around it some with stuff. So that's where that one ended up. I brought it 3 feet up from the actual edge of the toilet. This is, or not toilet, the pan. This is all stuff you're gonna have to figure out for yourself what you want and what'll work for yours. And then this is gonna go on here. And that's my first problem I'm having here, is these are actually quite a bit bigger than these. And I was afraid that was going to happen, so I need to see if I can get some sort of an adapter to hook onto this. And hopefully I won't be coming too far out, because I want to have these in as far as I can to just barely have those. There's cover pieces that go over the things that are going to stick out here, and then this to screw on. So I got to look into that, see what I can find, and go from there. And in the kit, actually, it comes with these, and I thought these would be too short, but actually I looked and they look like they might be just the right size. So I believe these should fit, I'm hoping anyway, into the PEX ones here, unless they're a different thread. Well, I'm thinking those, darn it, they're a different size thread. So, yet again, I need something that goes from this size to this size. That'll either fit here, or I'm going to have to see if I can find something that'll fit in here that goes from this size up to this size in this pitch of thread too. Because I can't be adding a bunch of stuff up and have it sticking out. The way the shower surround goes, pretty much it's going to come through. The shower surround's real thin piece of plastic basically, or whatever it's made out of, and it's pretty much flush with where the 2x4s are right here. So I'm definitely going to have to just barely have this sticking out any further than it's going to go. Darn, I thought I got lucky there, but I'm going to check and see if I can find something that'll work with this. YouTube. Unfortunately, the sanitary wares thing hopefully is going back. We've had it for a little while, but it looks like we can still send it back. Although I'm quite pleasantly surprised with the actual quality of it. Unfortunately, whatever this piece is here will not go into here. It's not the right threads, and it appears to be similar, real similar threads, but the pitch is wrong. It appears to me, and as you can see, there's some sort of, I don't know what kind of writing on there. And I've tried them both, and I cannot find any fittings at all at the hardware store where I can hook it into my wall that has the same pitch threads as these. No matter what kind of pipe type fittings I try to use, I cannot find anything that'll fit with these. So unfortunately, this is going to have to go back. And that, yet again, makes it going to be a longer time until this is done. But these are things that might help you to know that, you know, there's a good chance that if you order it online from a different country, that the thread pitch is what it looks like to me may be different in their country. So anyhow, we're gonna have to go to plan B. What that is, I do not know yet. It's been a couple weeks later, and we got the plumbing parts that they sent us for this sanitary wares thing here. So if you don't get these parts, you may need them if you're in the United States. But anyhow, they sent these things here, and I can't blow air. It won't go from here up and through here, so I'm assuming water won't either. So I honestly have no idea what these are for. They have these and gaskets. Then they sent these, which are a thinner version of the covers that came with the kit. And then they sent 2 of these, which are the adapters I believe I need, and they came with a bunch of gasket washer things. But it appears that I should be able to take this, and this is the nipple I'm trying to go through into the wall. This actually does fit in here, which allows this piece to screw onto here. So, in theory, with all this stuff, I need to figure out how far this is going to stick out of the wall. And I would assume I actually would need the thicker ones just for the fact that I think this is going to stick out further than I want it to. But we shall see. Let's go start hooking. And this is where everything kind of started going off the rails, and my idea just wasn't working out. And I started mocking things up and realizing that the piece that I put in here was not going to work. So, well, it'll work, but I got to space it out a certain amount. So what you're about to see is kind of how I put together the pieces and what I used, but then I'm going to go from there and start mocking this all up. So got these hooked where I'm hoping they're going to end up in the end. We'll see. I may have to do some adjustment. And part of the thing I would like these actually facing up. So I'm going to actually hook this and this together first, which this one takes the gasket. So I got to make sure that's in there nice and safe. And then I don't trust these fittings further than I can throw them, which may be fairly far, but regardless, I don't trust them. So I am going to put some of this sealant, thread sealant, on these. This is where I say I am not responsible if you do something I do. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, don't do it. But I'm going to throw a little bit of this on here for a couple reasons. I don't trust these fittings, first of all, and I also don't really trust rubber gaskets in the wall. They tend to break down after time, and who knows. And now that you kind of know how I put these things together, you'll know by now also that things just weren't working out. It was just not fitting the way I wanted it to. And I realized once I mocked it all up that this was going to be like inside the wall. And so I need a new cover piece here that was thinner, or I needed to bring this out a little bit. And to tighten these the way I needed to tighten them, things just weren't lining up. So I have now tightened these all the way up. I have the one here where I kind of know where I want it to be. I need to mock this up where it's inside the wall, where the plastic piece will just fit behind here. So I've got to do a little bit of measuring. I got kind of an idea of how I want to do it, and I'll kind of show you that. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but right here is the thickness, I believe, of that wall, which is where I'm going to be drilling through and the spigot's going to come out of. So what I'm going to do is kind of hold this up or measure it. Not sure exactly what I want to do, but I need to figure out what this thickness is so that this can just be touching on that but come all the way back. So I think I'm kind of back to where I was before here. I put this in. I've actually remounted this piece a little further down, measured on here exactly kind of where I wanted it, or kind of, not exactly. It's about in the area I want it and where I want the stuff to come out at. So our next step is to get this stuff. That's the one downside about this stuff, is it never actually dries. Get this on here. Now I'm actually going to go right off of that right there and put this definitely real close to on the bubble there. And so I should be able to pull these off, put those back, and it should be pretty well dead on where I need it. Got that on, and where I think it needs to be, I'm hoping anyway. So we can go ahead, and I put this piece right here. That's actually for the shower head goes up, but it has this here that kind of hooks it to the wall, and it's got this stuff here, and it comes with an anchor. If you just need to drill a hole and screw it in there, it's going to screw through the plastic of the shower here, which I need to do some measurements, because here's the top of the shower here, and I need to make sure we're not hitting anywhere in here. It's going to have to be, I'm hoping, about as high up as I can get it so that I can raise the body shower head up higher. But anyway, I need it to be around in this position here, so I got to do some measurements and make sure that that's going to hit up here or below, so we're not running into this up here. That would be a bad thing. I got lucky. It's like exactly where I wanted it. It couldn't have worked out a whole lot better. So I'm going to find a 2x4 or 2x6, kind of similar to what I did with this, and bring it across here, and we'll put that in, and that'll give me a solid piece to hook this piece right here into, and that'll just be right here. There'll be a mount for it. Alright, so far so good. I'm going to go ahead and mark this out, measure it up, put that piece in, and then when I finish this off and the shower's all done and I'm hooking this all up for the last time, that's when I'll have the video on putting this all together, in case you're interested in this. And in the end, this is what we got to hook things to. Now I gotta hook up the pecs and then block these off, and actually this side will be ready to be tested, pressure tested. So and I need to get it inspected and stuff before I can really move on from here. I started looking at this, and I realized right about here, I can mark it right about there, this starts going up at an angle and over, and I can't have the spigot coming out here on one spot and down here on the other. It's going to be cocked the way it's working. So because of that, so what I did is I marked where I figure it starts at, measured from the edge over here, and got to see it. But the edge of that where I marked it from is the same as the edge of where the pan down there is. So I took my level on the edge of the pan, came up here and made a mark. So now I can go from that mark and over and mark this out. And then I'm going to have to move these over, unfortunately. So I'm not going to do that all over again. This is exactly the same thing. I'll just do it over here further. So that's a pretty good idea of how to do that. Once again, it's obvious I am no expert. Got this in the meantime for my shower, where the shower head is going to hook to and then go up. Anyhow, so I'm going to sign this one off as this is Sam, Jack of all, and obviously Master of none. You all have a good one.